And hello, hello, hello. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all that rainbow in between and beyond. Welcome to. Hello? Excuse me a second. Give me a second while I figure out something here. Hello, hello, hello. Probando, probando. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining me on tonight's stream. And we are reading The Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx. And we begin. A specter is haunting Europe. The specter of communism! All the powers of old Europe have entered into a holy alliance to exorcise this specter. Pope and Tsar, Metternich and Guizot. Who's Guizot? French monarchist and says man by preeminent in the term of office by the French Revolution of 1848. Oh, okay. And who's Metternich? Lothar Bonn, Austrian Minister of Foreign Affairs, blah, 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 and yada, yada, yada. It's very interesting history. Where is the party in opposition that has not been decried as communistic by its opponents in power? What power? Class and individual to impose their will on society, another group, or person. Okay. Where is the opposition that has not hurled back the branding reproach of communism against the more advanced opposition parties, as well as against its reactionary adversaries? What's reactionary? A political position that maintains a conservative response to change, including threats to social institutions and technological advances. Reaction is the reciprocal action to revolutionary movement. Reactionists clamp down on the differences of the emerging production forces in society and attempt to remove those differences, silence them, or segregate them in order to keep the stability of the established order. So reactionaries are people who don't like change and they throw a fit when it happens. Okay. Two things result from this fact. Number one, communism is already acknowledged by all European powers to be itself a power. Two, it is high time that communists should openly, in the face of the whole world, publish their views, their aims, their tendencies, and meet this nursery tale of the specter of communism with a manifesto of the party itself. What's a communist? Those who actively support the interests of the working class as a whole, without any kind of prejudice. Communists live to unite workers? Yes, we do. Instead of divide them along imaginary lines, whether based on gender, nationality, race, or ideology. Gloria! To this end, communists of various nationalities have assembled in London and sketched the following manifesto to be published in the English, French, German, Italian, Flemish, and Danish languages. What's a language? Blah blah. Cognitive role in the language, the immediate actuality of thought. It's when you talk and read and stuff like that. Okay, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? We're gonna tell me about history, man. I want to learn about history. Chapter 1: Bourgeois and Proletarians. Start with the rise of the bourgeoisie. The history. What's history? The science and art of storytelling past recorded events based on the critical examination of source materials. The bias of any history principally begins with a historian's philosophical premises and the range and quality of source materials available. Okay, it's when you study the history of all hitherto existing society is the history of class struggles. Tell me about class struggles, Marxy. Classes emerge only at a certain stage in the development of the productive forces and the social division of labor, when there exists a social surplus of production, which makes it possible for one class to benefit by the expropriation of another. The expropriators are the bourgeoisie, the expropriated are the proletariat. Basically, the conflict begins because one guy makes all the good stuff and the other guy wants to take it all. And that is where class struggle comes from. Freeman and slave, patrician and plebeian, lord and serf, guildmaster and journeyman. In a word, oppressor and oppressed stood in constant opposition to one another, carried on an uninterrupted, now hidden, now open fight. A fight that each time ended either in a revolutionary reconstitution of society at large or in the common ruin of the contending classes. In the earlier epochs of history, we find almost everywhere a complicated arrangement of society into various orders, a manifold gradation of social rank. In ancient Rome, we have patricians, knights, plebeians, slaves. In the Middle Ages, feudal lords, vassals, guild masters, journeymen, apprentices, serfs. In almost all of these classes, again, subordinate gradations. The modern bourgeois society that has sprouted from the roots of feudal society has not done away with class antagonisms. What's bourgeois society? Bourgeois society is the social nation in which social formation, in which the commodity relation, a relation of buying and selling, has spread into every corner of life. The family in the state still exists, but the family is successfully broken down and atomized, more and more resembling a relationship of commercial contract rather than one genuinely expressing kinship and the care of one generation for the other. The state retains its essential instruments of violence, but more and more comes under the sway of commercial interests, reduced to acting as a buyer and seller of services on behalf of the community. Does that sound familiar to you, my dear viewers? And what's a feudal society? Feudal society is the type of civilization, it's just this small-scale agricultural production based on traditional patterns of land ownership and territory. It's basically the system of kings and lords, okay? There. What is class? I don't want to go to school. A group of people sharing common relations to labor and the means of production. Yeah. You have the proletariat, those who make stuff, and the bourgeoisie, who take all the money for themselves. Bunch of jerks. It has but established new classes, new conditions of oppression, new forms of struggle in the place of old ones. Our epoch, the epoch of the bourgeoisie, possesses, however, this distinct feature. It has simplified class antagonisms. Society as a whole is more and more splitting up into two great hostile camps, into two great classes directly facing each other, bourgeoisie and proletariat. What do you mean by bourgeoisie and proletariat? Can you expand on that? Hey, it's Engels! By bourgeoisie is meant the class of modern capitalists, owners of the means of social production and employers of wage labor. By proletariat, the class of modern wage laborers who, having no means of production of their own, are reduced to selling their labor power in order to live. What's the means of production? Can you tell me about that, Engels? The instruments and the raw material used to create something are the means of production. Okay, thank you.